Welcome to the CBC Wizdumb Hour, episode number 173. I'm Steve Witchell in New Orleans.
Tony Byner coming to you live from New Jersey. What's happening, people?
Well, we're going to find out, Tony.
What's new and exciting, Steve? Please do tell.
Well, first of all, I must say, if you're coming in here live, come on in and say hello. Tell us where you're from, and we will talk back to you and perhaps put you on the screen and perhaps start a whole conversation. Maybe we'll even bring you into the show if you want.
Anything's possible.
Anything's possible tonight. Just don't know. We are streaming live right now at 7 p.m. Central Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Tuesday, July 19th, 2022. Just in case somebody from the distant future stumbles across this video, that is the time and place.
Yeah, or they find it in a time capsule and they're like, man, good thing we knew that.
We should put this in a time capsule.
Because we wouldn't have known otherwise, you know?
I do not know what is going on here, and I'm going to explain in a second. Oh my goodness gracious. So yeah, we're streaming live on the Cover Band Central Facebook page and the Cover Band Central Facebook group and the Cover Band Central YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And so, all right, here's my conundrum. I have a conundrum. Right now, there are 4 people. Oh, I went up to 10 people. Somebody say hello, please. Somebody let us know that you can hear us and see us and tell us where you're from.
What's up?
So this is the second time today I've done a live broadcast. Normally, when we go live, the audience of Cover Band Central is currently 400 on the page, 436,000 followers. In the group, 62,000 followers. YouTube, I don't know. But 6 people right now watching. Normally when we go live, Tony, and you know this to be true because you've been here with me.
For 173 episodes now.
That hundreds of people, as soon as we go live, hundreds of people are watching, and then it drops down as people see, like, all right, these 2 morons, I don't want to listen to them. And then what remains, generally, by the end of our hour, there's a good 35, 40, 45, maybe even 50 people still hanging around or coming in and out. Right now, there are 7 people watching. 5. So this is, again, the second time I've gone live today. And the first time I went live was to have an interview with a great guy, Eli Khan from Juke. Juke is an app that I've been using, and I want everybody to know about and use because you're going to make more money at your shows by using Juke. It's a tip app, and people can also request songs through the app and tip you. And it's a lot of fun to use. It's a lot of fun for the band. It's a lot of fun for the audience. And you can make more money. And I did this whole interview with Eli. And that's where you can... Anybody, the 4 people that are watching right now, if you would like to make some more money, go to juke.band. The link is right there on the screen. Just type it in your phone or your computer and get the app. And they have been generous enough saying the first 100 Cover Band Central members that sign up for Juke, they will match the first $25 that you get in tips. So you're making $50 for the $25 that you made in tips. And if you use this app, you will make $25.
Well, you'll be making $50 more than you're making now by not using the app. So
Exactly.
You can look at it that way.
Yes.
Right? It's like free money.
It's free money. It's a free app. This is a no-brainer. This is a game changer. You 2 people now that are watching.
Yes. So I will comment on that, Steve. I think there's maybe several factors at play. One, we are in vacation time. So from now until middle of August, a lot of people are away.
I have to disagree with that because people have phones everywhere, whether on vacation or not.
Yeah, but like if I'm on vacation, I'm not following the normal things I do. I'm on vacation.
But you're not a social media guy.
Okay. Secondly, I would say maybe, typically we've been doing it on a Friday night. Now we switched back to Tuesdays. You don't see any problem with the day of the week demographic?
I do not think that is a factor. I think there is something else at play. Some other.
And what do you think that might be? The evil forces of Facebook
Yes.
now blocking CBC or somehow trying to squelch the CBC dominance of Facebook?
There has been a lot of seeming foul play in the Facebook world in as far as CBC is concerned in the last week. Now, I talked about the thing where I was put in 24-hour jail last week. And one of the punishments besides that, they said that my post will be lower in the feed for 30 days.
Wow.
So that, of course,
It contributes to it.
Gave me some concern. And so yesterday, I'm going to show you what this looks like.
Let's see it, Stevie. Let's see it.
Because maybe somebody can give me some insight.
Maybe they're diverting the hundreds of normal listeners we have to a different.
No, but here's the thing, Tony. I did a live stream yesterday with Bob Doyle.
Yep.
And it went.
We talked about that last week, yeah.
And it went great. There was a lot of people watching, just like normally, like when you and I would go live. It generally, there's a couple hundred that come in right away, within the first 3 or 4 minutes, I would say. And you know it because we always tell us where you're from, and then all these people say, "Hey, I'm from Chattanooga. Hey, I'm from Australia."
Oh yeah, no, it's definitely agreed.
So the same was true yesterday afternoon or morning. I mean, it was afternoon for you. It was noon exactly. Actually, noon Eastern. We went, and today I went live at 1 Eastern or 2 Eastern. Actually, 1 Central. And yeah, so yesterday was fine. We got plenty of audience, plenty of engagement, and it was great. And then today, just went down the tubes. So there is something going on. So I'm going to show you the other thing that is really strange, because I don't know. I don't understand what is happening. And it may just all be some sort of crazy anomaly that's going on.
It might be, Steve. It
might just be something in the weird World Wide Web thing that it's just, for some reason, my lives are not. Because we're streaming right now to the page, to the group, and to YouTube. 5 people right now watching. But I can check the traffic for the memes and stuff like that, and all the other stuff that is posted.
Sure.
And yesterday, or actually the last 2 days, the traffic was quite a bit lighter on those than it would normally be. Today, shot back up with traffic to the website too from the memes, because I put the website URL in each post.
Mm-hmm.
So here is, and so this is the way. So I do, again, 22 posts a day on the page. Some are articles. Sometimes I do videos there, but mostly it's memes. And each meme, I'm sure you're familiar, Tony. You've seen Facebook. You're not on it, but you've seen it. Most memes has their own little post area, and you see the meme, and then there's an area to like it, or to comment, or to share it. All those things are there. So this started happening yesterday, and now it's then it wasn't happening earlier today, and now it is again. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. This is the Cover Band Central Facebook page. Okay?
Okay.
We good so far?
I'm with you.
Cover Band Central. There you go. 436,000 followers.
Yeah.
Okay. We have a pinned post here at the top, which is from Juke, which is what I was telling you about. So this pinned post is on the Cover Band Central page. So you can go here, click on this old link here, and get started and start making more money at your shows. And if you don't do it, I don't want to hear anybody complaining about that they're not making enough money. Seriously. Okay. Next, the next post is this thing that we're doing, and I can't press play because it's delayed, and we'll see what we
understood
what we were doing. But as you can see here now, it's a live 9 people live watching, and nobody has commented yet. Nobody has said anything. Not one comment.
Either we have a silent audience or something. Maybe they're being sequestered, Steve. Maybe they're not. Maybe they can't comment as much as they want to. They just can't.
Maybe.
It's quite possible.
The next post is a conglomeration of the last 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 memes that I put up, all in one post, with one little section here to like, comment, share, and there's 2 shares, no comments, 13 reactions. But if I click on one of them by itself, you'll see the post here that got 139 reactions, 9 comments, 80 shares. Now I was thinking, okay, maybe it just looks like that just on my computer. But I looked on the phone, same thing. So, yeah, let's look. Let's click on the +9. And this is like you would have for, a gallery, a photo gallery. If you put up a whole bunch of pictures in one post, this is what it would look like on Facebook. So, I always put up, a promotion for the website where you can sign up for a profile for you, your band, or both. It's free. I always put up one of those a day. So here are the various memes that I put up recently. The birds singing, 416 reactions, 21 comments. So music is the best teacher. Start them young. Good advice. When you hit a wrong note, but it still sounds as good. A little funny meme. The water is not connected to the pipe. 1,300 reactions. So the point here is when the post goes up. Oh, and it's Brian May's birthday, by the way. Here you go. 960 reactions. So good, good engagement here with these posts.
Okay.
But again, we go back, and if you're going just to look back through, they put them all in one place, which I guess Facebook is trying to consolidate space.
Right. So you didn't arrange them that way.
I did not.
It was prearranged that way for you.
Yes, I guess after a certain period of time. And this is the video I did earlier with Eli from Juke. Mm-hmm. Now that says 7 comments, but there weren't 7 comments during the whole broadcast. So let's look at could this work live streaming? Yes. I'm going to respond to this guy right now. Okay. All right. So people actually watch the replay. At least. Let's see who shared it. Yeah, I'm doing during Wizdumb Hour, Tony, now, I'm doing my work. Bandzoogle, I always put an ad up for them too, and they are kick-ass. Use the promo code CoverBandCentral. Sign up for a free 30-day trial. Bandzoogle, get a website. It looks good. An article. So here is an article that I put up. That's one of my articles. And here is this meme again from 10 hours ago that was put in the little mishmash there, and there's Brian May again. But I guess, okay. So now going backwards here, you don't see that collage anywhere here, right?
No, except off to the left where you have it staged right now.
Well, that's just a photos section of the most recent photos.
But no, I don't see it again. You're right.
You don't see it again. But I had seen it yesterday. All right, wait, did you ever see this, Tony? This is great.
Yeah, rocking it out.
So something mysterious is going on in the Facebook universe. Putting all this stuff together like this. Because now, if I want to find this separately, or if I want to find the information about it separately, I have to click on it and then see what's going on there. Which, all right, so they're not taking it away, but what in good God, what the hell is going on?
I don't know, Steve.
And again, we're 4 people watching us now, 5 people watching us now. So it's not getting reached. Nobody is seeing the fact that we're live.
Correct. And the fact that nobody's commenting either is a bit odd, because by this time, like you said, there's usually 50 comments in the
Yeah.
section already. So that being said, let it not diminish our ability to deliver wisdom, Steve. We will still deliver the wisdom like we normally would.
You're going to deliver the wisdom.
With the same enthusiasm.
I'm all tapped out of wisdom.
You're tapped out of wisdom. Come
I'm
on,
tapped.
man.
I'm tapped out. You
It's
need to be a wisdom fountain for me.
Steve, it's times like these when you're most beaten down, confused, can't make sense of things, to look inside and be grateful and realize the things that we do have in life that we are thankful for, and think of other things that we can spend our time and energy towards, rather than being frustrated with this conundrum that you're going through right now. I think you stay on it. You see what happens in a couple of days. You do some more live things and see if anybody, and give it a little barometer. It's only been a couple of days. And like you said, Bob Doyle, you had good response on his.
Yesterday.
Yesterday, right. That's what I'm saying. So I think you got to give it a week at least and just see how it plays out, because we did wisdom last week on Tuesday, right? So
on Wednesday.
On Wednesday last week, correct? That's right.
Yes.
And
yes.
and how did the rest of the week go after that?
Fine. And I did a live broadcast every day last week, and it was same. The only time there's been an anomaly is today. Isn't there like an asteroid passing by us or something, or a comet?
I mean, listen,
it
could just be some kind of glitch within Facebook too, where things are not ever out of sorts or whatever. But like I said, we could spend the entire duration of Wisdom Hour trying to figure it out and talk about it.
That's what we should do. Yes.
And no, we should not do that. So we'll have 4 listeners. We'll have 1, maybe. But it depends on.
At this point, I don't even believe this number. I don't even believe that that anybody's watching. Fake. Wait a second. Somebody said something. Terry Delacruz said, "Hi, I'm watching from Australia. I'm involved with band. I love your memes. They are so clever. Keep them coming." So I don't even think she's watching this broadcast. I don't think anybody realizes that this is a live broadcast. Somebody out there, please say, "Hey, I'm watching you live right now."
Right, because typically they'll be on saying, "Hey, checking in from so and so. Just got into the group tonight. Just arrived. Sorry, I'm late. Whatever, But I mean, So another question, another good topic to bring up though is something about gigs, right?
Well, hang on a second. I just want to say it is 7:19 p.m. Central Time on July 19th. Yeah, just to be clear that we're live at that time.
Yeah.
But all right, Victoria said, "I'm watching live." Victoria, where are you from? Are you from the Upside Down world? I've been watching Stranger Things. Have you seen Stranger Things?
I watched like the first season of it, and then it started getting too stupid, so I stopped.
Oh, okay. I watched the first season, and 2 episodes into the second season,
and they have. She said
the Upside Down. Yes.
Yes, Upside Down.
Victoria's in Austin, and Terry is watching. She is watching us live from Australia. All right, so we're hitting Texas and Australia.
Again, just a weird anomaly. Like I said, I haven't seen it. Typically it's like you said, a ton of people in, a lot of interaction going on. Listen, it could just be one of those nights. Like I said, you never know.
No. There is some anomaly going on with Facebook.
That's what I mean. So you'll have to wait it out a couple of days and see if it shakes itself out.
I'm not waiting a couple of days. I'm going to check it tomorrow. I might even wake up early or late tonight and check it again.
You could do that as much as you like. I just don't know if it's going to be enough time to see if there's if it moves the needle at all, right?
Well, when it changes, it's going to change. So whenever that is.
You'll know about it. Get your people on it.
Victoria said, just saw a clever meme, saw the live icon, and followed. Thanks, Victoria.
Yeah, so she's in. Like I said, so it is out there, Steve. Maybe, like I said, there's just some kind of unknown thing going on. But nonetheless, we can't let it deter our enthusiasm and our mission for bringing wisdom forth. So therefore, we must talk about something very important. I have a good question for you.
Okay.
So I have a friend of mine who's playing in 5 different bands, and he's on target for 150 gigs this year.
Good for him.
So what kind of preparation, I've done that in the past too with the original band, but not day in and day out, year in, year out, But in a situation like that where you are playing, up to 3 times a week, every single week, right? So you're playing, 12 times a month, maybe 13, 14, 15 times a month. It's
Sure.
pretty good amount of gigs. And you're
Sure.
used to gigging like that. But up here in the Northeast,
Yes.
where you don't have a Bourbon Street, that's not a typical scenario. And again, like I said, he's not in one band playing all these gigs.
Right.
So, what are some things you can think about for our fellow musicians out there that may be up against a similar type of situation where they have tons and tons of gigs to play? What are some tips, since you've done it and you've played 150 gigs a year or more?
Oh
Um,
yes.
you know, how do you keep yourself fresh? How do you keep yourself, like going back to Brian May's quote earlier? Each gig must be unique, right? You must tread that fine line between giving the audience what they want, but also keeping yourself fresh, and you're not in a rut of playing, because take it for cover, right? It's different if it's original because it's your own music, and even if you've played it 1,000 times, there's still some different energy that you get from it. But cover band, like we always talk about, you want to emulate and play the covers, to the best of your ability that you can. Um,
Yes.
but what about stretching some parts of certain things and inserting a little bit of your own self into them as if you were playing the gig live with the band that
Okay.
created it,
You you just asked me two completely different
Yeah,
questions.
yes,
So
correct.
which one do you want me to answer?
I
The
have
tips on playing, like keeping
Yes, that was
yourself
the first question. So you can
for
answer that
three
one
days.
first.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
3 to 4 gigs a week. What's a good thing to keep in mind to keep yourself fresh and healthy and not get burnt out?
Well, ideally, you would like to exercise daily, like have a routine, have a regular routine that you follow, especially in the morning. Getting up at a particular time, or at least within a particular time range, say between 9 and 10, or 10 and 11, or whatever. If you're playing late at night, you're going to sleep till at least then. But definitely have a routine in the morning. I'm a night person, so it's always a struggle for me in the morning to get going with just get going for my day, unless I have specific things that I want to get done first thing in the morning, which I currently do. I'm using a checklist for myself, for like a to-do list for every day, which I really like. It's making me way more productive. So have something, like have a plan for your day, and make sure you include things like exercise when you can. It doesn't have to be every day, but at least enough, where it's going to keep you healthy. Eat a good breakfast, and definitely eat a good dinner before you go play. I know there's some musicians that don't like to play with a full stomach too. So, don't eat a lot, but eat something so you have the energy. Don't drink too much, you know, and I mean, that's it, really. I mean, if you're playing 3 nights a week or 4 nights a week, you don't have to worry about practicing or warming up, or I mean, that's your practice, is playing the gig. That's where you're keeping your chops up, you're improving on your instrument. So just, yeah, those are the tips I would give, as far as just having to do it day after day. Because I was doing it, yeah, sometimes 6 nights a week, dude. I was playing
Correct. So now, what if you're working full time Monday to Friday, and you have 2 gigs during the week and 2 gigs on the weekends? Then what does that do to adapt to the schedule? Because now you're already in a routine, right? You're already waking up, early in the morning. You're going to work a full day, and then
Mhm.
you're going to gig. Not every single night during the week, but at least 2 nights during the week you have gigs, and then on the weekends you're gigging. Or maybe you're gigging Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and you have 1 gig during the week, or maybe it's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I'm not certain the
Right.
schedule, but that's just something else to pay attention to. And my only input to that, because I've done that section of it, would be, don't drink at the gig. Keep yourself hydrated, and get home and get to bed, at a reasonable time, especially if you have to wake up early the next day. And if
Right.
you have back-to-back gigs during the week, where you have to do that, you have to take it on a as they come basis. But you definitely need to be rested, and you definitely need to be geared up so that you don't get burned out, right?
Right.
Especially if you're working all day, and then, how do you keep yourself fresh at night if you're going to a gig and you've just worked a long day? How do you summon the second wind? And I think as musicians, we can all relate to that, where you could be tired and this today and I have a gig tonight, but then when you get to the gig, you become energized and all of a sudden, you're alive and the music awakens us, right? It brings us to another place where we are excited to play. And that's why we would do something like that, like work a 10-hour day and then go play 4 or 5 hour gig.
Yeah. Other advice I would give for that is be in your 20s or 30s, 40 at the most, but over that, then you should not do that to yourself. You will you will get sleep deprivation and poor diet, and that's not a good idea. I did it. I mean, I was working. Not really. I didn't really do it, but I was before I moved to or to New Orleans, wherever I am. I was working 6 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. Then I would come home and I had an eBay business and I was working on that. And then I would sometimes go to a band rehearsal, sometimes go teach. And if I wasn't doing either of those, I was working on my eBay business the whole night. And I would go to sleep 11, sometimes midnight, and wake up at 5 a.m. and go back to work and do it all over again. So I was getting like 5 hours sleep. And I would take a nap on my lunch break. I had a half-hour lunch break, and I would brown bag it every day, eat my lunch real quick, and then take a 15-minute nap in my car. And that actually helped a lot. Sometimes those power naps are
And I
very...
think it depends on the individual too, because I could survive on 4 hours a night for a year doing that type of thing. And
A
I
year?
oh yeah, back at well, again, I was younger, probably yeah, like mid 20s. We were doing 150 gigs a year for about 2 years,
Uh-huh.
all original, and working full time. And same like you just said, would get during the week would be a rehearsal, or I would be teaching, or I would have something where I wasn't getting to bed before 11 or 12 o'clock, and I was getting up every day at 4 or 5 in the morning. And on gig nights, you might get home till 2 o'clock in the morning and still have to get up at 5. So
Hmm.
anywhere between 3 and 4 or 5 hours of sleep. And then I did that for a while, and then I was able to continue that well into my 40s and 50s. But I don't require a real lot of sleep, I guess, for my body, so I'm used to that type of thing. But also, I would notice that as I got older, doing that during the week, by the time the end of the week rolls around, it definitely catches up with you. You need to get some rebound sleep and get recharged and re-energized for sure.
Right.
But okay, so that was the first part of the question. Second part of the question was the Brian May aspect of it.
I
Like,
I didn't even read the quote. I showed it, and then I didn't
yeah,
even
so
read it.
it's like, so how do you play a gig where he's saying you need to walk the fine line between keeping it fresh for yourself, right? And keeping yourself
Yes.
challenged and engaged and keeping it fun for you and challenging, but also keeping it entertaining for the audience and the listener. So as cover band musicians, you know, I know I take certain liberties with drumming, on covers to make them more lively and make them more as if I was playing it live with that band. Within reason, not, you know, defaming the song in any way or playing something that doesn't fit or work. You know what I mean? So it may be a little different for us drummers because we have some flexibility there, where you could do any, unless it's a signature fill or something that's going in, you have to play the grooves correctly. But I, I do find that when you go on to YouTube and you look at a bunch of different cover bands, some of them play it exactly like the record. Some of them take a little bit of liberty, and some of them really, do their own version of it almost.
Right.
So to Brian May's point, it's like, how do you keep it fresh if you're playing, like, for example, like what you're doing, or even what I'm doing, you're playing the same, like in New Orleans when you do your bunch of gigs, it's, you're playing the
Hmm.
same variety of songs night after night after night. So do you guys ever mix it up? Do
Yes.
you play anything different? How do you keep yourself inspired to play, Don't Stop Believing for the 50th time this week?
Okay. So that was a long
Hmm.
question, so I will try to my best to answer. But by the way, I want to read the Brian May quote verbatim. It says, "Each gig should be unique. You're always treading that line between keeping yourself fresh and giving people what Tony is referring to."
Yes.
I wrote an article about this a while ago, and I'm going to bring it up, and we're going to look at it and talk about these points, because this is what I think about it. But yes, in New Orleans, we are often playing the same exact songs night after night, especially the popular ones such as Don't Stop Believin'. So, particular, what keeps engaged with it and enjoying it for that song in particular, and songs like it, and when I say like it, I mean songs that are mega popular here in New Orleans on Bourbon Street with the tourist crowd. Those are songs like Sweet Child of Mine, Jesse's Girl is one, Highway to Hell, or You Shook Me All Night Long. Those are popular songs with the tourist crowd. I'm looking,
so safe to say you'll do them every single night.
Pretty much, yeah. I'm on stage and I'm looking out at the audience, and every musician knows this perspective, this point of view. We are generally looking, if we're playing stuff on autopilot, which again for us in New Orleans we quite often are, we're looking to be entertained by you, by the audience. We're watching you. We're watching to see what you're doing. And those songs that are mega popular, generally there's a good crowd and they're dancing or they're singing along or they're doing something, having fun, and we're entertained by that. So we're watching you have fun. So that's how it is. It's always a different audience. It's always new faces to watch having fun out there. And it's always a different experience because of how they're reacting to the song, whether they're dancing or singing along or whatever is going on out there. It's always brand new experience. So that's how I kind of keep those things sort of fresh, I suppose. I don't really need to think about playing any of those songs, or those songs in particular. There's no thought that goes into it because I've played them so many times that I just play them.
Understood, but how do you keep it engaging for yourself, like you said, so you're not on autopilot maybe all the time? Like, is there any songs you could think of that you don't necessarily revert to autopilot, but you actually are actively engaged in the song itself? Maybe a song that you don't play as often?
Yeah, it would be that, or a song that's newer that we've never played. So then I do have to think about it. If I just learned it recently, then I'm more thinking about it. But I mean, I'm always kind of engaged with my instrument, with playing my instrument. I'm always kind of, I'm in the zone with my instrument. I'm one with my bass. I'm always kind of what song it is. Either way, I'm playing a note. I'm plucking the strings. No matter what song it is, it doesn't matter. So I'm always kind of just focusing on how much I love playing the bass guitar, how much I love the bass guitar sounds when it's locked in with that kick drum, and just especially with the drums, with the rhythm, just how enjoyable that is for me, how much I feel it. I can feel it in my body, and that's more where I'm at, when I'm playing. I'm just kind of feeling this experience, and I'm noticing, that I'm playing well or something like that, or something that I just did sounds good. I notice it, but I don't really think, at all. It's just kind of just a being, it's the thing you really want to achieve in life at all times. You want to just kind of be present, not think about anything, just be here now. So.
And that comes down to channeling too. When you're in the zone at a gig, you're just playing, and it's just coming, and it's natural, and it sounds great, But
right.
But Greg G brings up a good point. He says all those songs you mentioned, need a killer vocalist to sing in the original key. Do you guys ever change the key of a song or bring it down a half step?
We have done that. The last band I was in, we were playing everything a half step down. Mm-hmm. But I've done that many times where a key has been changed to accommodate the singer.
Yeah.
But not for those songs that I mentioned. But Greg, we did have killer singers singing those songs. So, it's New Orleans. There's a lot of killer singers here. And sometimes it's a female singing a male part. So, females can sing Sweet Child easier and the AC/DC stuff easier. Some females, not every female has a high voice,
Yeah.
but yeah, we do have killer singers. So, but as far as like, and this is really my thoughts on it, and I'll show you this article here that I wrote as far as the approach to how, like, you said a lot of people just play it just like the original. So I wrote an article and I call it "Play a coverage song just like the original or make it your own, a handy guide."
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not going to read this
Very
whole
handy.
I'm not going to read this whole article, but I will paraphrase my own writing here by saying that it is impossible to play a song exactly like it was recorded. Playing live and playing in the studio are two completely different animals. In the studio, most of the time you're tracking. You're playing a rhythm track or a basic track, which is drums, bass, and rhythm guitar, and then overdubbing another guitar part and a solo and vocals all separately. So that's a whole different experience than it is playing live. So you could never 100% replicate a studio recording. You can try, though. You can come close to where it's almost hard to discern like what's different about it, but it's not going to sound like a studio recording, ever.
But even if you look up that artist online, you could find some live versions that they've done of those songs and glean some insight into maybe how you could modify them yourself.
Which I highly recommend. But, so, is the mentality, let's try to play it just like the record, or let's do it our own way. Let's make it our own. So this is my response to it.
Gotcha.
I'm saying, what are important aspects of a song? The lyrics, the melody, the key, the tempo, and the signature riffs or signature melodies. So those are the things that you want to honor of a song. Sometimes you can change up the lyrics a little bit if you're changing something to make it personal with the audience or the venue or the band or something. People do that often. The melody, you can play with that a little bit generally too. But certain melodies you want to keep the way they are because that's why that song was successful.
Correct.
The key of the song, again, should be honored, but yes, you can change it like we talked about for the vocalist to accommodate the vocalist. Tempo, again, should be stuck to, but there are obvious times when you can mess with the tempo. You can play it super fast or you can play it super slow, and it might really radically change the song for the better for you, for the situation you're in. But these are the aspects so I basically say that all that stuff what I just said in this article here. So those are the aspects of the song to consider. All right, do we want to keep this the same? Do we want to mess with it?
But I think one of the most important things in that list is tempo, because if you can radically change it, that's great, right? And it'll sound unique and different. But if you're only changing it, like if you're playing it 2 to 4 BPM too fast or 2 or 4 BPM too slow, it's going to have a wonky feel to it, So if you are shooting for that original tempo, or if the original tempo is, let's just say, 138 and you want to bump it up to 140 to give it a little more pep in its step, at the gig, that's great, right? But if you're playing that 138 song at 145 because it feels great, and then you go and watch it back, it's not going to have any groove. It's not going to feel right, And we talked about that last week about gig adrenaline, right? So it's a very real thing that we have to deal with, where you think you're playing it at a great tempo live, but you're really not.
Yes. And I wrote in this article about what we were just alluding to, that where you could drastically change it. There was a band I used to play on the same in the same venue as them. They played before us. They would play Hotel California in double time, and it was awesome. It was great because you could still, everything else stayed the same. The lyrics, the melody, the signature, the guitar solo, all of it was the same. It was just 2 times as fast, and it was awesome. So, and the reason they did it was, when they first started doing it, was because we would show up at the club. The club was Voodoo Vibe, and we played after them. I forget what the name of the band was, but they had to stop at a certain time, and then they would break down, and then we would set up and we would play. And there was probably about a half hour in between those times, so not a lot of time. So they would be really diligent with stopping on time. So they would because we're all kind of friends and stuff. So they would just, they didn't want to screw us. They wanted to make sure we had enough time to set up and start on time.
Sure.
And sometimes they would have like just 2.5 minutes left or something like that, and they wanted to play Hotel. So they just played it super fast to squeeze it into that time. And it was great. Everybody loved it. I mean, it was, not only could you still sing along with the song, but it was funny, and people were and the whole band is laughing, and the crowd is laughing. So, your attempt to read that whole comment right there.
Yeah, I was just looking at it, so it's good.
So Slink, wait, hang on. Slink is watching us on YouTube. He said, that's what I do. I don't know what he's talking about, but he also said bingo. So at least we got Slink on YouTube.
Yeah, and we're hitting some topics that he agrees with.
Greg.
That's good.
And Greg.
And Greg.
So anyway, yeah, but stick to the certain aspects of the song that are important, that people want or expect to hear. If you have somebody singing along and your singer doesn't know the lyrics or is changing the lyrics to make himself laugh, then people out there aren't going to enjoy it as much.
And to Greg's point too, if you're not in a situation where you're, expected to play these certain types of songs that are crowd favorites and popular, and you don't have a singer that can sing those parts, even if you've dropped it a half step or a whole step and it still doesn't work, there's just some songs that you move on from, right? I mean, we've all been there, right? There's
Sure,
songs that you learn as a band, you play them a couple of times, and either they don't go over that great, or someone's struggling with singing it, or that has difficult parts in it, or it just doesn't sound good. There's certain, songs that just won't fit your band, and it's okay to move on from them and not have to play that song because everybody else is playing it, right? But play your own songs that sound good, and again, we get back to, set up a video recorder out front at a couple of gigs and just videotape the band. It's very, very telling. It's very revealing.
Sure.
It's great, criticism for yourself to watch and see, how do you look? How do you look on stage, right? Do you look like you're bored? Do you look like you're having a great time? Do you look like a maniac? Do you look like you're bringing it?
You look like a maniac.
Yeah. Or are you just standing there doing nothing? The songs sound good, or do they sound not so good? What songs sound great, and why do they sound so great? And what songs maybe don't sound so good that need some work? Is it background vocals? Is it the lead vocal? Is it the guitar lead? Is this something that's out of someone's range? Like, there's a lot of factors to take into consideration. Just because the band agrees to do a song, I think it's important that it's done well and that everyone agrees that it's done well.
It's got to sound good. Yeah.
Yeah, and not just because it's, it's Pete's favorite song, so we're going to play it, but it doesn't sound good,
Don't do that. Yeah. It's got to just sound good. You got to be able to be honest with yourself and get some objective opinions from it, but definitely film yourself. But check it out. I was going through some old files on my computer recently over the past week, and I found... Oh, there she goes again. I found a video that I recorded of when I was playing with Wendy and Lisa, and you remember Wendy and Lisa because we did the movie with them.
Yep.
And it was this guy Jack playing drums, and it was I don't remember where the show was. It was in Jersey, but I don't remember what the venue was. It was the only time we played there. There weren't a lot of people there. It was a nice sized stage, and there was a big dance floor, but nobody was on it, and there was a bar in the back, and people were there. But I filmed the whole thing, and so I sat and I watched that over this past week. So filming yourself is great for nostalgia. If you like to kind of look back at where you came from and things that you used to do, people you used to play with, it's great for it. So I basically played another show with Wendy and Lisa just by watching it. But I found like I was, definitely checking out like how was I playing. And this was probably 2007.
I was going to say it's at least 15 plus years ago.
Yeah, somewhere around there. So, I've definitely come a long way since then. But I was watching my playing, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I sound good. And I thought my voice sounded good, too. And I felt like I'm very highly critical of my singing voice. And it's especially if I just, if I just played the show and then I go back and I watch the video, I'm like, ew, ooh, I don't want to hear that. But if I hear myself singing from 15 years ago, I'm like, oh, that sounds pretty good, actually.
Yeah.
Because I'm not so close to it and I don't really
Yeah.
even remember. I don't know what to expect. Like, I'm like, okay, I'm just listening and like, oh, okay, it sounds good. So that's good for that. But yeah, like Slink said, we video all our rehearsals so we can wince at our own shortcomings. Yeah, and if you have a sense of humor about it too, it's good to do that.
Well, and it's not meant to be like, oh, look, so and so, like you're not playing that part right, or you shouldn't be singing that like that, or that part sucked. It's more like to go back and look at it collectively, right, and say, what could we be doing differently? Or if you run down a gig and you've played 30 songs and you spend a rehearsal watching them down, you can make some notes and say these are some things we need to work on. Or you might see songs and say, hey, songs number 1, 4, 5, 7, 8, and 11 were great. They had no one can think of anything that we could do any different. So those are some staple songs that we do that sound really good. However, on this song, so-and-so, could have sang this different, or he missed that cue, or whatever it might be. But you can definitely, like you said, it makes you better, because you can't get better at things that you don't work on, and you can't get things to work on if you don't know what to work on, and you can't identify what to work on if you don't do some sort of review to understand what's in need of being worked on.
Right. Well said. There you go. So do that. Everybody film yourself. But I have to get to the topic that I wrote in the description, because I haven't.
Oh,
I kind of alluded to it already in the beginning, but we'll just talk about it super quick. It's just tips on tips. I think we've talked about it before.
Do you want to do it double time?
Here we could do it double time.
Okay.
Keeps the I'm the boss complex out. It keeps us all equal. I like that.
Yeah, but it's true, because if you're in a band with a boss, that band's not going to last very long, only because people are going to get tired of it. And again, it's just,
Greg said we practice virtually, so it's tough to work on stuff before we actually play a gig.
Yeah, but Greg, like to the point we made earlier, you could record a gig, share it with everybody, and then collectively review it, and then chime in remotely, right, and discuss it.
Yeah, in fact, that's a good way if you're getting together virtually, so you can have like a Zoom call.
Yeah.
And everybody watch the show, and then you can really see where you're at. But so the thing was about tips. We've talked about it before. If you play a gig where you're allowed to take tips, you absolutely should. You should have a tip bucket, tip jar, some way for people to give you money, because people do want to tip you.
Yes.
A lot of people do have money, and if they like what they hear, what they see, they would happily give you a tip. So make sure you have that available. But now with technology, we have these people have been doing the Venmo thing, using a QR code, or just putting up their Venmo address, which is silly, I think, because then you're making people type on their phone. Drunk people in a dark club type on their phone, and that's rude of you to do that. Put up the QR
or they're sending the tip to somebody else because they misspelled something.
Right. Put up the QR code for your Venmo. But the best thing to do now is a tip app, and I did an interview with this guy earlier today. Please go check it out. Check out the replay of it. It's on the page. It's in the group, and it's on the Cover Band Central YouTube channel, which you should subscribe to, by the way. There's a link in the description. But that is juke.band, and go to juke.band and check out this app and get it on your phone and start using it at your gigs. If you're allowed to take tips, if you're a solo artist, you're a duo, you're a full band, doesn't matter. It's fun. You put in your whole set list and your whole song list, and people can scan the QR code that you're going to post in the club somewhere. You're going to hang it up or put it on the bar, put it on tables, and they actually will send you a poster when you sign up, a personalized QR code that they send you one for free. And this is a free app, by the way. You don't have to pay anything for any of this. But you put in your whole set list, and people scan the QR code. They can scroll through your song list. They can request a song right then and there. They'll tip you virtually on that app, and they can tip you $5, $10, $20, $100, who knows. They'll tip you something, and they can just tip you without requesting a song. There is no reason to not have this if you play live. Go to juke.band and get this for yourself. The first 100 Cover Band Central members that sign up, they are going to match the first $25 tip you get. and they're going to give you another $25. So
Awesome.
make sure when you sign up that you told them you heard about it on Cover Band Central. That is a $25 sentence to write. So do that.
Indeed, it is.
Slink said tip jars are non-existent in Canada. I first seen that concept when we were playing in Michigan. That's interesting. I didn't know that.
Huh. Well, even more reason now you have the app. The only thing I would say with the app, though, it sounds like if you have 150 songs in your library, you better be brushed up on all 150 of them, even if you're only playing 50 of them at the gig, because there's another 100 in the queue that they could potentially pick from, hijack your set list, but say, hey, here's $20, play this song. Here's $5, play that song. Here's $15, I'd love to hear that song, right? So you got to be prepared to be able to, to produce the songs that you put on that list.
You got to have, song retention in you.
Yeah.
You have to know a lot of songs. And that's something that I need to do, here playing here in New Orleans. And I've always said that about playing in any cover band. The more songs you know, the better you're going to do and the more work you're going to get, because that's the number one thing that people need. You go to jam, if you're subbing for a band and you walk in and they say, okay, we're going to play the song. Do you know it? And you say no, then you're hurting the whole night. You're hurting the whole band. You're hurting the whole project. And you're likely not going to get asked back to play with that band. However, if every song they ask you to play, you know it, or you can at least fake through it, you're probably going to get work out of that. And they're going to like you. And the club is going to be happy. And the band is going to be happy.
Hey, now, typically, if you get a call for a sub, like, hey, Steve, got a gig tomorrow night. Can you do it? And you say, yeah. Will you say to that band, if you don't know them, like, because a lot of the bands you're probably familiar with and know the guys from playing on Bourbon Street, but if it's a band you're not familiar with, will you ask them for a set list or say, can you send me your song list so I can understand what you're doing?
Yeah, absolutely. If I've never played with any of the people, yes, I will.
Right, but if they have a 200 song list and you only know 50 of them, let's just say,
then I'll ask them what are the priority songs to know.
Yeah, or is there a set list, right?
Or are they going to put a set list together for the show?
Right.
I mean, when I was playing with No Idea, no set list, no master song list, even no set list, no nothing, just right, and no warning. Sometimes I wasn't even told what song was next. The drummer would just start, right. And I would be expected to jump in and play the part and play it right.
Sure.
So it's like that sometimes. But knowing a lot of songs. I'm just a sponge with songs too, and I'm a bass player. It's a little easier than it is for guitarists, maybe, and for singers, because singers have to remember words, specific words.
Yep.
I just have to remember one of the notes, and I'm not playing chords. Generally, I'm playing, one note at a time, so it's a little easier for a bass player. But I still have to know the song structure, things like that, harmonies.
Sure.
So I know all the songs. I used to sub with Glenn Roberts. You know Glenn?
Yeah.
He's a Jersey guy, and he would do solo gigs, just playing guitar and singing. And he had a loose leaf or a notebook, with the pages you can put in. What is that called? A binder? Okay, thick. That's this thick.
Like John Monica used to have before technology caught up with him.
Yeah, just full of songs and song lists and lyrics and everything. He knew a ton of songs, and same thing. He would just start playing. He wouldn't tell me what song is next, and I would just be I assumed, I guess, that I knew songs, and I think that happens too after a while. If you're playing with a band and you pretty much know every song, they're just going to assume.
Yeah, that you know the 100 songs that everybody else knows, on the street.
But I am subbing next. Is it next week? What is today? Yeah, it's next. Oh wow, it's next week already. Next Friday, and one of the guys. Ooh, I didn't even tell you this. This guy Abe Ruiz. He's a guitar player from Jersey who I played with in an original band 15 years ago. And he is here now in New Orleans and playing. And I'm actually going to be doing a gig where he's going to be on the gig. And the other people in the band, not only have I never played with them, I've never even met them. I don't know who they are. I was given the names, but I don't know them at all. So I'm going to show up to that. But I'm not asking anybody for a set list. I'm going to just show up to that gig and see what happens.
Bold move, Steve. And then they're like, "Hey, do you know this song?" And you're like, no." And then they're like,
Uh,
"Did they tell you that this is a '70s R&B band and we do, this eclectic mix of songs?" See, that's one of the challenges we have. It's like it's so hard to find someone to be able to sub because A, the songs that we play are not your mainstream cover songs, and B, it's more of a show now. So it's orchestrated. There's starts, there's stops, there's certain orders that things go in, there's certain things that we do to segue one song into the next.
right. That's
A lot
right.
of
I'm
stuff.
living on the edge, Slink.
Yeah, living on the edge. What if that song? Aerosmith, Living on the
I
Edge?
do actually. I
There you
had to
go.
learn that recently.
Mm,
Within the last 6 months, I learned it,
cool.
so I could probably get through it.
Indeed. But yeah, it
Yeah.
would never hurt just to ask the guy to say, what kind of music do you guys play, right? So say, let's say
Well,
get
I
the
know.
Commodore's cover band and you weren't ready for it.
I mean, it's a Bourbon Street band, so there's going to be the Bourbon Street songs, of which I know them all.
And there you have it, the
And
Bourbon Street song.
that's how we refer to them. Yes,
Nice.
which are the tired old songs that everybody has played and everybody knows. Those are the Bourbon Street songs,
And
but
they love them still.
they do. And I'm just gonna wing it. I kind of like it. I like the adventure, the excitement of that, of not knowing what song is next. Ooh, what song are they gonna call? And if maybe it is a song I know and I haven't played in forever, and I love playing that song, and I wish somebody else would have played that song. And yes, yay! That's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm looking forward to. That excitement,
Okay.
or there's the excitement and the adrenaline of, no, I don't know it, but yeah, let's try it. What key is it in? Okay, yeah, I kind of know how it goes. Let's give it a shot. I think I can figure it out as we go. I've done that a million times too, and that's fun.
Especially when the guy's yelling to you, B, C, D, F, right? Giving you the changes as you're playing them. He's yelling them out.
Yeah, sometimes they'll do that, or sometimes they'll hold up a number for the chord.
Right.
That's what I like to do. If I'm communicating on stage to another musician who knows a little bit of theory, I'll just hold up the number, like it's the 4 chord, it's the 5 chord, it's the 2 chord, whatever, and that's an easier way to communicate. It's harder though when it's a 7th chord or a 6th chord, because now I need 2 hands,
Yeah.
and my hands are on the bass. I can generally take one hand off
Unless
at a
you
time.
mouth them, just say 7.
Yeah, but that's a little tougher.
7.
Seven.
Or you just get on the mic and say 7. Keith, 7.
Sometimes I'll do that too. Very rarely though will I go on the mic and do that.
All about perception, Steve.
That's right.
All about perception.
All right.
Be up
So
there.
speaking of perception, I thought this was going to drag this hour because I was like so in my head about everything that was going on.
Yeah, there's no
And
dragging.
wouldn't you know it, this hour is just about completed.
I told you,
Just
Steve.
flew by.
Our mission is to deliver wisdom. You can't get down in the dumps about Facebook BS, man. You just gotta,
No,
get
well,
on with it, man.
Well, it's not being down in dumps. It's trying to figure out what
Yes,
the reason is, and to come up with a solution to rectify the situation.
but there's 23 hours in the day, and this hour is dedicated to wisdom.
Right. And well done, Tony, for keeping us on track with that.
Yes. Remember, in life, when you're not on track, put yourself in a mental state to get yourself back on track. Because whatever it is that you're thinking about and pondering and worrying yourself about and getting yourself down about is all in your head.
Right.
And as soon as you can change that mindset to a different place, your whole perspective changes. And you're like, what was I thinking about? Why was I so down before? You
Right.
know? But it's a trick. So you have to be able to, be weary of the trickery.
Right. Excellent wisdom. I'm not down. I feel good. I'm very happy that this hour came. We got it done, even though not a lot of people. But go to juke.band, everybody that's watching now. Get that app. It's free. You make $25. You will get an extra bonus $25 from them for the first 100 people from Cover Band Central that sign up. Make sure you let them know that you came from Cover Band Central. Which, by the way, the website, coverbandcentral.com, sign up for a profile for you, your band, or both. It's free. And to get in touch with me, Steve at coverbandcentral.com. To get in touch with Tony, Steve at coverbandcentral.com. All right.
Steve at coverband.com / please talk to Tony.
and sign up for subscribe to the YouTube channel. The link is in the description for that. And we will we'll be back on Tuesday next week again, because we're doing Tuesdays again. And hopefully
No, I will not be here next Tuesday, Steve.
You will not. That's right. You will be in
Sandcastleville.
Sandcastleville.
I'll be going to my vacation Sandcastle.
Right. So 2 weeks from now, return. But catch me tomorrow for whatever Wednesday, and maybe I'll have figured this whole thing out, and maybe everybody will come back in droves. Maybe it'll be even better. You never know. So tune in for that, and be good to yourselves. Be good to each other, and party on. Yeah.